Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. A little windy out there and getting warm again. It's 79 degrees and it's not even 11 o'clock yet. Oh man, back into the summer months. Well, anyways, I don't mean to have a whole week of what seemingly seems like somewhat negative opinions on our world banking system, our governments, and everything like that. But God, I've kind of gone there this week, and I'm going to finish up on Friday with that as well. And no, things are not okay, folks. And that's exactly what they're going to try to spin on you, the corporations and governments worldwide, not just domestically in the United States, worldwide. They're going to try to spin on you that the economy, things are better and things are okay. Things are not okay, folks. We are not even started into a full recovery right now. And basically, what does a full recovery look like? A full recovery, it looks like, as far as the United States go, what they're going to consider full recovery is when they have everybody in the entire country on welfare except for the corporate elite and the Walmart greeters. So that's kind of what it looks like when they say things are going to be okay. Otherwise, why would they be printing endless amounts of money and coming up with endless spending sprees that are just absolutely breaking this country? No, things are not okay, folks. And they're going to, again, as I said, they're going to spin it. Today's job reports, for example. Look at this. Huge beat. March jobs soared by 916,000, smashing expectations. Well, no shit, Sherlock, because if you take a look at what we've been through all of 2020, we basically, again, I've been using my automobile analogy. Our automobiles in good economies, have been going, about 100 miles per hour, and zero would be completely stopped. In 2019, at best, after 2018, I think we might have got up to a cruising speed of 60 or 70 miles per hour in our economic car. And then all of a sudden 2020 hit, and our economic speed in our our car is now all of a sudden doing 5 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour. So with the 2020 over and the I don't even know what to call it, the bad cold of 2020, with that being pretty much over, and that's pretty much done with, we're going to start to see jobs open up, especially, the fact that they closed down they didn't close down major corporations, and they didn't close down Walmart, they didn't close down any of the big grocery stores, they closed down small and medium-sized businesses. They stuck it to small and medium-sized businesses. While corporations had record-breaking profits from all the money that they got from our governments and officials, basically closing down small and medium-sized businesses, or screwing small and medium-sized businesses. So basically what we got now is supposedly a recovering economy where a majority of the public is going to get a welfare check. What's so recovery about that, folks? And then the other people are going to be working worthless shit service jobs at restaurants or sweeping up floors, floor sweepers basically. Because basically what they've done, folks, they've destroyed small and medium businesses across this entire world, not just the United States. This is a global, this economic destruction is a global pandemic, and it's caused by governments and government officials and central bankers. This is who has created this issue, and all they've done is they've not fixed anything. In fact, they never fixed anything in 2008. They didn't fix anything today. All they did is double down on their stupidity. Again, let me calm down here. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. 1 second here. There we go. I feel calm now. I needed to have another cup before I started the show, actually. So, are we okay? No, folks, we're not okay. Unless you consider that most of the population is going to be on some form of government check, which they're going to print out of thin air, and the other half are going to be working for Walmart as greeters, and then the small and medium businesses are going to struggle to get back up on their feet. Unless, of course, the idiots in the world global leaders, or I call them the idiots, decide to double down on stupid and keep going with what they're doing. Again, that's my opinion. The Twilight Zone and Economy and Alternate Reality Equity Markets. And that's kind of what got me going this morning a little bit. I read this and it's spot on. This is on ZH. You can read it for free. ZH doesn't charge anything to read their articles. Just type in the Twilight Zone Economy and it should pop up. It'll probably also pop up under Patrick Hill's Real Investment Advice site as well, since he's the one that wrote it. But let me start out with this, the beginning quote out of here. And this is from Rod Serling in, what is it, The Twilight Zone. It is a dimension as vast space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between he said science, it says science, but between reality and superstition, bubbles. And it lies between the pit of man's fear and the summit of his fundamentals. This is the dimension of economic imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone. And yes, folks, economically, we are living in the Twilight Zone for sure. Our economy has entered the Twilight Zone. Today, economic leaders base policies on hopped-up utopia with bubbles called growing markets and greed termed good valuations. Exactly what I've been talking about for some time now. And actually for the last week I've been talking about that. It's just too coincidental that this article comes out and says the exact same thing. The Twilight Zone economy is a place where fundamentals have disappeared. It is a utopian world where no moral hazard for business, financial, or economic mistakes. In the last year, the Federal Reserve has injected $4.1 trillion into the banking, hedge fund, and Wall Street complex of the financial elite. Remember what I told you? It's all about making their buddies richer, not us, not the small businesses and not the medium businesses. It's about making their buddies richer. Vast injections of dollars have sent stock valuations to record highs. Yet the pandemic-driven economy is real for 19 million Americans out of work. Others who lost 540,000 people, and that's true. Policymakers, I'm going to go over just a few key points in this article. I sure would like you to read it. Policymakers disconnected from the real economy. Yet policymakers continue to become further disconnected from the real economy where people work and spend. These leaders imagine an economy of full employment forever, risk assets continually rising in price, not in value, with virtually no market corrections. It is an economic wonderland for corporations to use low-cost debt to finance infinite profits and stock buybacks. Wall Street is only too pleased to hype this corporate financial engineering. And this is exactly, again, what I'm talking about, is they've completely drained medium and small businesses. They've basically killed a lot of medium and small businesses. And medium and small businesses are what makes this country great, not major corporations, and certainly not our government. Astronomical public debt drags growth. The country is drowning in low-interest debt, and this is true. We are drowning in low-interest debt, and it's going to come home to roost. And where is that going to be profitable? Well, we're going to see profits in that from precious metals. That's where the profit's going to come from, is precious metals. Because as we see them just endlessly printing more money, you're going to see gold and silver prices rise higher and higher. Negative yields, debt trigger speculation. Sovereign negative yield debts reached a high of 17.8 trillion last month. Thus, a massive level of worldwide debt is repaying the entire. So, as I was saying just a little bit, this is not just domestically in the United States. This is a global economic pandemic that we're having. And this global economic pandemic started long ago. One can even say it started well before 2008. 2008 was the culmination, the start of our economic downfall. And we're just getting worse, and we're going downhill from there, in my opinion. Equity markets are an alternate reality. Absolutely true. Why is a firm like Tesla valued at the same level as the next 6 largest car companies or the oil industry's total market capitalization? Isn't Tesla's valuation in the economic twilight zone? Absolutely. There is no good reason Tesla should be valued where it is today. Analysts value Tesla at $1 million per vehicle produced versus GM at $5,000 per vehicle. And again, does that make any economic sense? No, it doesn't, because we are living in the twilight zone. While VW is building 6 battery factories in the EU and vows by 2025 to take, basically Tesla, I think, and again, this is not a show about equities or Tesla, but I think Tesla's in big trouble down the road here. That's my opinion. And let's move along here. Bubbles, bubbles everywhere. Another sign of an alternate reality is bubbles in non-financial markets. For example, Christie's just sold a digital work of an art by an artist known BP for $69.3 million. Get this, folks. This is real. This is not The Onion. With a non-fungible exchangeable token, NFT. When the bidding started at $100, NFT collectible prices have skyrocketed, providing the buyer with ownership rights indicating their purchase is authentic. This artist, BP, knows he's riding a soaring market, observing, and I think he said this himself, quote, absolutely it's a bubble, to be honest. Even an artist gets it. An NFT buyer purchased 351 top NBA shots for $5,000 last January. They're claiming they're worth more. But again, we're living in the Twilight Zone, folks, where you buy a piece of paper that says you own something and you own nothing. Where you buy an NFT, a token that says you own something, you own nothing. Where you buy a crypto coin that says you own something, you own nothing. Where the dollar in your pocket says you own a dollar. But really, what do you own? Basically, at that point, a piece of paper, which is still more than a crypto, which you own basically space, empty space. At least with a dollar bill, you can wipe your ass. That's my opinion. But no less, bubbles everywhere, like this article. Millions of workers are long-term unemployed. And again, the rosy noise, that's exactly what it is. The rosy news you're going to hear is that we're up almost 1 million. Governments and banks are going to take credit for this. Look, we've got 900 million people employed now. Yeah, you got 900 million Walmart greeters, low-paying jobs employed. All right, I mean, there's, people have got to work. But, what they call jobs, and those 900 million jobs, are mostly what we used to call, when I was younger, low-entry summer jobs. When a kid needed a job, what did he do? He went to work for Burger King. When a kid needed a job, he went to work for low entry. We've got adults trying to survive on what used to be in my generation low entry wage jobs. We got people trying to survive on that, and then all of a sudden they create 900 million entry level low paying jobs, and that's going to be the recovery. Bullshit, folks. It's not a recovery at all. The real people that are unemployed, and the real people that get hurt the most, and the real people that we need in this country are small and medium businesses, small and medium-sized businesses. That is where the wealth in this country is created. It is not created by corporations. It's not created by governments. Period. I'd love to debate anybody on that. They may have a hand in destroying economies, and they may have a hand in helping out small and medium businesses occasionally and creating wealth, but they don't create wealth themselves at all. In fact, all they do is suck it away from us. Policymakers are missing solid economic landmarks. Man, there's so much good stuff in this article. I highly recommend you read this. And again, I've always said ZH should be on your bookmarks bar up there. Take a look at it every day. They provide all different types of viewpoints and opinions that you will not read in any corporate media. Again, good story, the Twilight Zone economy and alternate reality equity markets. Definitely read this, folks. I think it's a good read for Friday. And to kind of go off, and I wrote this a little bit earlier so I would remember it and provide you a visual as well. Governments and bankers create wealth? Bullshit. Making their buddies rich? Sure. Other than that, the only thing they do is screw up economies. And this is exactly true. If you've been around as long as I have, and I'm not claiming to be some old guy, but I've been around for a few years, this is absolutely true. The only thing governments and central bankers have done in the last 5 decades is just screw everything up. Small and medium-sized business is what really creates wealth in this country, and that's absolutely true. Large corporate businesses do not create wealth. It goes to a few select stockholders that can afford to buy large amounts of stock and live off that kind of stuff. Governments give special treatment to these large corporations, so of course they're going to be successful. But do they make you rich? No, they don't. The only way they're going to make you rich is if they Walmart raises their greeters pay to $100 an hour. And that ain't getting rich either, folks. But no. Excuse me. Small and medium-sized business is what creates real wealth in this country, not governments or banks. Avoid doing business with big corps. Buy local, make us rich, not them. I've been saying that for some time, and if you notice, that's one of my mantras here. If you're buying gold or silver or precious metals, And again, the online guys are not big major corporations like Walmart. You know, the SD Bullions, the AppMexes, those guys. They're big companies, but they're what I would call medium-sized businesses. And again, I don't discourage. There's nothing wrong with SD Bullion, AppMex, and these guys. But one of my big things that I've been saying for the last year on these shows is try to buy local. Keep that money local. You know, if SD is in your town, absolutely buy from them. If they're in your state, sure, buy from them. It keeps the money local. But try to buy locally. Keep that gold and silver money that, you know, the purchases that you're buying. Try to keep that money within your state. If you don't have a good local store to sell you precious metals in your town, try driving an hour outside your town. Try to at least keep it in your state. And this is why I've always been talking about support your local small and medium-sized businesses. Screw the big corporate ones, in my opinion. You know, I've even cut down my Amazon buying dramatically, and when I can, I always try to go to a small business. You know, we have Bass Pro down here, which is, I'm a big fisherman. Bass Pro is one of the biggest fishing places down here. Even though they do have a brick and mortar store down here, and they do hire, I will still go and pay more at the little local fishing store, because first off, I get great advice over there that I will never get at Bass Pro. And the second thing is my money. I know where my money goes. I look behind the counter, and I happen to know the guy that owns the place, and he's got 2 daughters and everything like that. He's raising his kids off that fishing store, off the money that I spend there. That certainly ain't happening when you spend money at Walmart or with Amazon. And again, that's my opinion. And I'm sticking to it. So think, shop, and buy local. Well, let's move on to GATA. It's kind of a strange show today. I'm kind of hopping around everywhere, but let's move to gata.org and gata.org. If this is your first time watching the show or you missed this before, they are the #1 smartest dudes and ladies in the entire planet here when it comes to how gold and silver markets are manipulated. When you get some time, if you haven't done it already, make sure you read this, the basics right here. You see what I'm circling? Read the basics at least. Read confiscation, read documentation, read the essays. These guys are brilliant. This is not some guy sitting in, like me, sitting in his garage. No, I'm not sitting in my mother's garage. This is not some guy sitting in his mother's garage. You know, that's just, you know, he's not in the business, and or they're not in the business. They know this business. They know exactly how the markets are manipulated and how gold and silver markets are manipulated. And the beauty of that is that once you know how a game is rigged, you can win. It's just like if you knew how a 21 game is, you know, if you went to Vegas and you knew that the dealer was weak and you knew, you know, what he was going to do, you could play and win all night until they, you know, until the casino changed the dealer out. But again, of course the game is rigged, but if you know how it's rigged, you can win. And we know how it's rigged, and we've been talking about that for the last year. So if you want to catch up with most of us here and you're new to the show, make sure you do read GAT.org and you read this. Junior gold miner Rosoro's big award against Venezuela is reinstated. It's kind of funny too. I guess one of the junior miners out there, when Venezuela was starting to, you know, take away all the businesses and take away mines and stuff, took away this company's mine, and the international courts awarded them 20 trillion bolivars. Which is kind of funny, which may buy a cup of coffee in Venezuela now. They got some major inflation going on there. While I don't see that happening exactly here, I think we're going to have a similar type economy as they do. Again, that's my opinion. The more they knock the price of gold down, the more India wants it, which starts to make sense because India is starting to come off the great 2020 cold, and they're starting to buy more gold and buy more silver. And when they see the dips, they absolutely know what to do. They buy the friggin' dips, which is what, if you got money and you're still interested in buying gold and silver, buy the friggin' dips. Let's take a look at Let's take a look at CCE spot prices here and see what's going on. 1730 right now, kind of hanging where it was yesterday. It looks like we had a low of 7. I didn't follow markets last night or really early this morning. Had a little rough night last night, didn't sleep too well, so normally I kind of check the markets and get up real early and I check markets, but I'm not sure when it hit 1706. Was it last night after New York closed, or was it early this morning in London? I'm not quite sure, but no less, in the past, last year, the European markets and overnight markets are kind of leading the way for New York. But that's kind of reversed here the last month or so, I noticed. But I'm not quite sure what we're going to see tomorrow because of the 1706 low. Or are we going to see a lower price today? Maybe. Let me do a quick refresh too, because I haven't refreshed in about a half hour. Let's see if she's hanging on to that 17. Yeah, she's kind of like hanging right there. Silver looks like had a low at 24.44. I'm sorry, a low at 24.29 and a high at 24.99. So again, probably in London markets or last night in overnight markets, it got whacked somewhere. And platinum kind of busted that 1100 market. We're sitting above 12, so platinum's doing real nice as well. I like these markets. I think, again, we're going to see some dips. When you see dips, especially if you see big dips, you buy the freaking dips. If you're not buying the dips, do not sell into them. Do not panic. I'm just saying this to the new people out there that might be watching, new stackers, new investors. Don't panic. Just add more to your stack when you see prices go lower. At some point, this market is just going to fly here. It's all about timing, and I don't think our timing is going to be too far off from now. At some point, you know, this stuff's going to hit the fan. Well, let's take a look at yesterday's video, and I'll go over a few comments here. And let's take a look here. Yesterday's video is have we hit bottom yet? And I talked about have we hit bottom prices in gold and silver and precious and platinum. And as you know, I don't think we've hit bottom yet. But there's a caveat to that. It's kind of a little more complicated answer to it, and you'll have to watch the show yesterday if you didn't to figure out what I'm talking about right now. Let's take a look at a few questions here from yesterday's comments. Dumb things you see. Be political all you want. All the silver stackers are the same in terms of thought. We know better. We need to hide. We support you, but I like crypto too. Dumb things. I like crypto. Don't get me wrong. I see a place for it. I really do, but not as money. You know, I like crypto as money as much as I like a dollar bill as money. It's just fiat, man. It's not backed by anything. But I do see the technology in cryptos as being something very important. I'm not quite sure how or why. Again, not my field. I'm not my specialty. And I'm the type of guy, if I got into cryptos, I'd lose a lot of money. I just know it. I need to know things and study things before I get into them. That's just me. Michael Fernandez says there's about 5 times more above ground gold than silver. You know, Michael, I've heard that too. A lot of people don't realize that for 100 years plus, we've been throwing silver away. You know, not just like taking silver services and silver bars and chucking them in your garbage can, but I don't think people realize how much silver is inside television sets, electronics, and a lot of the things we use on a daily basis that don't get recycled and get thrown in the landfills. And to some degree, that could happen to gold as well, but not to a lot, you know, not that much. You know, a lot of cell phones have little gold-plated contacts and things in them too. So, but silver way more. For number one is most all solders for televisions and radios and cell phones. They're not made with lead solder anymore. They made lead solder illegal, so you don't see lead solder in landfills anymore. What you do see is silver solder, which has a very small amount of silver, but when you're talking trillions of phones that get thrown away and TVs and electronics, trillions of them, not just billions and millions, probably trillions of electronics that get thrown in landfills, that equals millions and millions of ounces of silver. You know, I've always said at some point, Michael, that I thought that, you know, 100 years down the road, people are going to go on bidding wars to buy landfills so they can go back into landfills and pull out all the stuff that we threw away in an earlier period. Tina says, actually, it's too funny. Actually, gold is in landfills. I know a few fellows that take time to melt down old computers. What a coincidence, Tina. I just happened to talk about it. I didn't even look at what you were saying. Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's just what I was saying. Bill, thanks, brother. Always nice to see you watching. Philip Creek, I think we'll see hard bottom around 2260. I'm really apprehensive about picking specific price points and specific times. Only because I always get my ass handed to me and someone says, yeah, see, you said it was going to be up on Friday and it wasn't. You know, timing is everything. However, I do know it's going to happen. And just like you, Philip, we know that we're going to see another bottom here. We know we're going to see big highs. We just don't know exactly when and how much and how little. Thanks for watching, Phil. Richard House says, like your comments on Perth Mint, so right on point. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it. I kind of went off on Perth Mint yesterday a little bit. And I need to kind of, I'm not going to apologize, but I went off on Mr. Hayes, the director of the Mint yesterday, and I probably got a little heavy on him. But you know what? You know, if you make stupid comments out there, ignorant comments, you kind of deserve to get shit on. You know, that's my opinion. Anyways, if you didn't know what I'm talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you watch yesterday's show. Michael Matthews, it's kind of like my hobby, flying drones. They form a committee to make rules. Yep, exactly, sir. I hate committees, too. If you want to screw something up, start a committee. Psycho Killer, I lived in Australia for about a year. It's a beautiful place. However, I wasn't too impressed with the intelligence of the people there. I don't know. It depends. I'm not too impressed with the intelligence of the people here, Psycho Killer. So I guess it's all relative to where you go and who you meet. Because I do have a lot of smart Australian friends, and it is a beautiful country. Let's take a look here. Jimmy E. Morby, I feel good about gold from this point on. I think you are absolutely right, Jimmy. Although, like yesterday's show, I think we're going to see a collapse in the gold and silver market. And again, I'm not going to go into that here. Why do you think I'm going to see? Why do you think I think we're going to see a collapse in gold and precious metal markets? Temporary collapse. Well, you're going to have to watch yesterday's show to figure that out. Jay Gill says, "Hey Brian, great coverage on of that joke of an interview with the Perth Mint." Yeah, I know. Yeah, and they mentioned the best is said when you can walk and get a 1,000-ounce bar for 24,000. You know as well as I do, Jay, that was nonsense. You couldn't have walked in there and bought it. They would have looked at you with a look on your face like you were nuts if you walked in to buy a 1,000-ounce bar from them. So that article and the comments made by Mr. Hayes from the Perth Mint were so much bullshit. Silver Stalker says to be in silver market you don't need a crystal ball. You need to have two of steel. Yes and no. You know, I used to tell people that, Silver Stalker, that, you know, when they say, well, what should I buy, gold or silver? I always say, well, you know, you got to have a stronger gut for silver. But, you know, it's not really true. Silver just has these wilder, crazier swings than gold. But, you know, if you're day trading, yeah, of course you got to have big balls of steel. But if you're buy and hold for medium to long term, you don't need any balls. You know, in fact, you need 0 balls to buy gold and silver right now for the medium and long term because there's nothing crazy about doing it. And in fact, I think it's a no-brainer buying gold and silver right now. But you're right, silver does make those big swings, sir. And if you're day trading or you're new into buying gold and silver and you see these big swings, it freaks a lot of people out. Mr. Scrimador says, "Not morons, willful and calculating." God, I can't pronounce that word. Here goes the siren. Gosh, I am getting tongue-tied. Is exploiting the useful idiots. Thanks for your vids. If I was local, I would be a customer. Hey, thanks for watching, sir. I really appreciate that. And Richard Hayes says silver is, or Mr. Borat says, wow. Richard Hayes says silver is abundant, mostly used in the industry of medicine. We have 1,000-ounce bars for sale, 24,000. Yeah, again, I caught that too, Mr. Borat. Exactly. What an idiotic statement that guy made for there. Well, that's pretty much it today. Looks like it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday, too. No gold and silver reports this weekend. I get to have 2 days off, and so do you. Well, that's really about it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. The best deals out there are still US 90% silver and 10-ounce bars and 100-ounce bars, as long as you can buy them for less than a $5 an ounce premium. If you're buying silver for over $5 per ounce, if you're paying over a $5 ounce premium right now, you're paying too much. And I know, you know, some of you folks like the products. You love the Silver Eagles, you love the Britannias, you love the Maples, you love some of those pretty stacking bars. But, you know, if they're getting $5, $50, $6, $7 an ounce, they're too much, folks. You know, remember, you're buying this not to display it. It's not, you're not buying it to show people. You know, it sits in a dark place, hidden somewhere. So who cares what it looks like? Buy the cheapest possible form of gold and silver that you can. Cheapest recognizable form that you can. And again, if you're paying more than $5 for silver per premium right now, you're paying too much. If you're paying more than $100 an ounce for any type of gold products, you're paying too much. And as much as I love some of the gold coins, you know, if you can buy gold bars for $70 to $90 over spot, it's a better deal than paying $110 to $200 for coins, for sure. No advantage there. In fact, it's a big disadvantage to buy coins. You're going to save $100 an ounce, you know, anywhere from $20 to $100 an ounce buying bars right now, and that's a far better deal in my opinion. Well, we're here 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. Call me anytime you want, and happy to answer any of your questions. If anything crazy happens at the end of the day, I know I always say this, but, you know, if markets were to crash crazy or go up crazy, I'll do a second video in the day, but more than likely not. And I'll talk to you Monday. Hey, thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and talk to you soon.